Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this live podcast. And I said today I'm going to be taking my time to talk about GMO because a lot has been happening, a lot has been going on air about GMO. And I said I was going to talk about it today because we need to clarify things and we need to get our people informed and educated about things so that we make informed decisions or we actually put our energy in the right manner. And that's why I'm doing this. One of the things that will happen to you is doing something you think you know what you are doing, but you're actually doing that out of ignorance. And that's actually one of the biggest issues that when you now realize it becomes too late. So there is need for us to talk about GMO, and I want us all to come over. Let's begin to dive into GMO and see if you can understand exactly what this thing is. Okay, fine. Now, let's go into it. Today we have people saying no to GMO, no to GMO, we don't want GMO, we don't want anything about GMO. And there is a lot of campaign, there's a lot of protests happening all around, especially in this country, and people are talking about GMO. And the question is, people that are talking about it, how much do you even know about GMO? The only thing they will tell you is, GMO is a seed that's actually not done naturally, that it was actually done in the lab, for us to become dependent on the foreign companies for seed and many other excuses. They now want to also come to the part of what we eat, and they want to start enslaving us again on what we eat. Fine, it is good you are saying that. And the question is, how many commercial farmers actually buy seed from Nigerian-owned seed company? And how many Nigerian-owned seed company do we have? So if you want to go in that part, I want you to even know that even as we speak, most of the seed of what you eat today, from tomatoes to cucumber to watermelon and their likes, most of those seeds are not produced in Nigeria. Just have that at the back of your mind. But that's by the way, that is not what we want to talk about today. What we want to really look at, the clarifications I want to make today, is on GMO. Now, what is GMO? We already know the full meaning of the acronym. Genetically Modified Organisms. Genetically Modified Organisms. That is what GMO. Now, if I want to explain GMO for you, I must first of all try to understand what was modified. And if you look at the term or the acronym, genetically modified. So what is simply modified is the genes of a plant. The genes of a plant is what is modified. That's why it's called genetically modified organisms. So what is altered in a GMO is genes. Now, having understood that it's genes that is altered in a GMO, now let us come down and understand what actually is a gene. What actually is a gene? I will try as much as possible to make my explanations to be in every simplest term. I'll try to make my explanation to be at its simplest term. Now, when you hear genes, every living thing has a gene. Every living thing has what? Genes. Every living thing, both bacteria and their likes, everything that is alive has genes. Put that at the back of your mind. Now, we humans, we also have genes, and it is recorded that we have our genes is about 20 to 25,000. 20 to 25,000. That's what every human is carrying. So as I'm standing looking at you right now, I have up to like 20 to 25,000 genes in me as we speak. Now, what is actually this gene? Gene is simply let me use it in a way that's easier. Genes are instructions. Genes are instructions. Genes are instructions. Yes, let me use it that way. They are what determines how we grow, how we look, and how we walk. How we walk, I mean, is how we behave, how we do our things. It is genes, they are actually responsible for that. And to break it down, you need to understand that those instructions try to create some proteins that help the different activities that happen in human. So that is why when you say that someone is having 25,000 genes, it means you have 25,000 different instructions that determine how you grow. Are we getting it now? How you look. So how I'm looking right now, my genes is part of the cause. Are you getting it now? How I behave, my genes is also part of the cause. Are you getting the point now? Fine. Now, having known that, if any human is formed through a process, which is a reproduction process, and there's always a male and a female coming together to make that happen, right? Now, for me to explain this to you, let me so explain the composition of gene. Now, gene, you understand now their instructions. Let's use computer for example. Many of us know processor, right? What does a processor do? Processor simply follows instructions given to it by a programmer. So it just goes through lines of instructions and just keep executing the instructions. That's what the processor does. Now, those instructions a processor has is actually stored on what we call a memory. That's where we have a ROM and a RAM, read-only memory. Are we getting the point now? Now, genes are instructions. Yes, they are instructions. They are things that determines, they are instructions that determines. That means for every protein that is being formed, is keep executing different kind of instructions. So how you grow, how you look, how you walk, how you do your things, they are all as a result of a gene. And now these genes are loaded inside what we call a chromosome. These genes are loaded inside what we call what? A chromosome. Yes. And in humans, every human has about 46 chromosomes. Every human have what we call 46 chromosomes. And I don't want to take you to cells. Humans are made of so many cells. They say we have about more than 37 trillion cells, blah, blah, blah. But I want you to know that chromosomes are found in the nucleus of a cell. But I don't want to go deeper so that you don't get confused. Those ones, let it be for people that are into chemistry. Let's end at chromosome. But another thing I want to explain to you is DNA. DNA are materials that form genes. DNA are materials, or they are chemicals that form genes. Yes, DNA are chemicals that form genes. That will help you understand that. So DNA, that's why the last A in DNA means acid. A in DNA is acid. So they are chemicals that form genes. Then genes itself are instructions that determines how we do what, how we grow, how we look, and how we do what, how we walk, or how we survive. The things we do, the way we behave, the way we do our things. You understand? Those things are actually from the genes. And these genes are loaded inside what? Chromosomes. And I'm telling you that in human we have about 43 chromosomes. By diploid class, you understand, we have about 46 chromosomes. Now, let me tell you what happens when a child is produced. When a child is produced, this 36 chromosomes is always in 23 pairs. 23 pairs means that we have them divided into two. Each of them then one pair. That we have about 23 pairs of chromosomes. Now, what happens is this: when a child is produced, or when two people meet to produce a child, what happens is 23 of these chromosomes is transferred to the newborn baby from the male, and 23 from the female is also transferred to the newborn baby. So the 46 chromosome of a newborn baby is 23 of the father and 23 of the mother. That's why when you see a child may be fair like the father, but may have the facial appearance of the mother. A child may be tall like the mother, but dark like the father. That's why you find that you will see some traces of the way this person behaves. That's the father. They will tell you this is his father. They will see another person say this person is being like mother, because these chromosomes, these genes are random. You cannot come and they don't have a pattern at which they are in a person. But just know that 23 of your own chromosomes will come up with 23 of the chromosome of your wife to be able to be in any of your child. And that is why you find those traces of you in your child. If you're a stubborn type, if you're somebody that is always stubborn, more like, you will still find that traces in your child. If you see a man that is a very quiet man, but the wife is always, hard, a mean person, very difficult to manage and all those things, you could have in the children, you will see the one that is also very quiet. Inside them, you also see a very mean type. Why? Because the chromosome of this person have met the chromosome of the other person. So a child carries 23 chromosomes of the father and 23 chromosomes of the mother. And that is why in Igbo land, you always want to know your root, want to know who is your father, want to know who is your mother, want to even know your grandparents, so that if you don't be able to have a very clear trace, we can trace to the great grand. We try to know, because it continues like that. Are we getting the point now? Now, having understood genes and how important it is in humans, taking it to plants, which is our bone of contention, or where we are having issues. Plants also have more genes than humans. We have about 20,000 to 25,000. Plants has more. For example, tomato have about 35,000 genes. Tomato have about 35,000 genes. Cucumber has about 24,000 genes. Let me tell you, wheat has about 100,000 genes. So a lot of all these things have different type of genes. Are we getting the point now? Are we following? I'm sure you are following. Now, plants have genes because I have told you that every living thing has what? Genes. Every living thing has genes. Now, for example, me as a man, I have children from 5 different women. What it simply means is this: I transferred the first woman, introduced 23 of her chromosome to that child that she gave birth to. I introduced 23. The second woman introduced 23 of her chromosome on her own child. I introduced 23. So you will find the trace of my life in 5 of them, and find the trace of each of the women in each of them. Do we get the point now? Now, coming to plants, we have what we call hybridization. Hybridization in plant is when we try to naturally, the way we sleep with each other, we are producing what? We are producing another human being with 2 different qualities. That is the same thing with plants. Today in plants we have different varieties. We have different varieties of plants. Are you understanding it? And they all happen naturally. That is what hybridization. If I'm outside, I would have shown you something about this, what I'm trying to explain. In plants, there is what we call pollination. There is what we call in plant pollination. Pollination is in humans what we call sex. Yes, it is a process where a man releases semen in a woman for reproduction. Pollination is also a process where the male flowers actually releases stamen on the female flowers. I would have loved to show you this thing outside. Let's go outside so that I can show you the plants. Let's go outside so that I can show you that the plants. Let's go outside so I'll show you that the plants. I think that will make more sense, right? Okay guys, I'm outside. Let me show you something. I'm outside right now. Now look at this is cucumber, right? This is tomatoes. Now I think I have more flowers on cucumber. Now let me show you something. Look at this. Are you seeing this? This is a flower. This is a cucumber flower. But this is a male flower. This is a male flower. Can you see that? Now inside this male flower, it has both the anther. Are you seeing that? Now inside this is carrying a stamen that you will need to pollinate a female flower. Let me take it out. I have that with me right now. Let me see if I can get a female flower. This one is already big. It's already becoming a big fruit. Now let me look at this. Now look at this. But this is already pollinated. But it will also have, when the seed is coming out, it will have you will see the flower like this, and it will also carry this kind of flower under it, but it will be open. Are you getting it? The same way this one is open, that's the way it's going to be open. And what happens is this: there are pollinating insects that helps us to do that. Things like butterfly will come and take from this particular flower, take this stamen and drop it on the female. Actually he's eating as well, but somehow he's helping us to pollinate. But I can as well do this pollination myself with hands. All I need to do is I'll find the female. I'm trying to see if I can find any female that is open for receiving. I'm trying to see if I can find a female that is open for receiving. This one is already pollinated. I can't really find a female that is open for receiving. Most of the female I'm seeing here have already received, and they're already growing their fruit. Okay, I can't really find a female that is trying to receive. So let's continue. But I'm sure you have understood exactly what I am talking about. So pollination. And another thing is this. In that place we went to, in that outside we went to, I have two varieties. I have two breed of cucumber outside. I have a breed called Dowry F1. I have a breed called Dowry F1, right? I brought it inside. Yes. I have a breed called Dowry F1. And I have another breed called African Giants. They are all there. If you look at on those fruits, I would have showed you some of the fruits are looking like African Giants, but with dowry stem. Some are pure dowry, some are having the look of the African giant. What it simply means is that what it was pollinated with was a flower of an African giant, even though it's a dowry stem. It was pollinated with the flower of an African giant. So it's not carrying the traces of dowry and the traces of African giant. In this place, it's a natural process. That's what's hybridization. So they try to look for plants, the same family, cucumber to cucumber. Look for cucumbers that have different traits. Maybe this one is always big in size. This one is not as big as this inside. You bring them, introduce the gene of the one that is big in size through pollination, normal pollination, the way we have sex as men, as humans. That is the way we use normal pollination to hybridize There's nothing, they don't go to lab. It's a natural process. Are you get what I'm saying? That's hybridization. Now, let's now go into the bone of contention. I had to take my time to take you through all this to help your understanding. I want to help your understanding so that if I now go over to GMO, it will make a whole lot of sense. Anyway. Now put down. Have you gotten it? I had to go through all this stress so that when I start explaining GMO, it will make sense to you. Have you getting the point now? Now, fine. Having understood genes and understood hybridization, what is now GMO? GMO, like the name is genetically modified organisms, is that GMO is now achieved through genetic engineering. GMO is achieved through genetic what? Engineering. It's achieved through genetic engineering, and it happens in a lab. It happens in a lab. And what they normally do in genetic engineering is to try to look for genes that has traces of what you want. Are you getting it? Like when it comes to plants, some of the things, and these genes can be gotten from, let me tell you, these genes can be gotten from bacteria. Are you getting it? It can be gotten from bacteria. These genes can actually be gotten from even an animal. Not really plants. They can be gotten from, but mainly it's gotten from bacteria. You understand? And when you hear bacteria, say, bacteria is not good for the health. No, let me tell you, we have harmful bacteria that cause disease, and we have helpful bacteria. We have harmful bacteria that cause disease, and we have helpful bacteria. So once they find some of these traces, some of those bacteria that are helpful, they pick their genes and introduce that gene on the composition of whatever plants they want to really introduce it to. That is what happens. And most times, GMO or genetical modification happens when they want to get some kind of things. Number one thing is when they want to form resistance to a particular kind of disease. That's most times when they do GMO. They want to really get a particular kind of result, or maybe to kind of alter the production rates, maybe to make it higher, also to be able to, what else now? Mainly is always for disease resistance. Mainly, most of GMOs I've seen, if not for disease resistance, is for weed resistance. You understand? They try to create GMOs that will help resist, so that if you are using some herbicides, it will not affect them. That's what they do. These are technicalities of what they are trying to do. And one thing I need you to know about GMO is this. If such genes are introduced on a particular seed or a particular plant, what happens is this. If it produces, the fruit is going to carry will not have the same gene. That gene that was artificially introduced will not be found in that one. Though, because most of them find patent in this, many of them use what we call gene terminator to make sure that if you plant it and you want to replant, or if you plant it and you want to replant it, it will not grow. Are you understanding it? But if you replant a GMO seed, it will grow, and that seed that came from a GMO tree can never have that same traces of the main seed. It will not. That's true. Number 3, every GMO you see in the market today passes through more than 7 certifications before it is certified for human use. I don't want to start mentioning all those things. I'm always not very good at mentioning names, calling all those organizations, regulatory bodies that does all that. But I'm not talking about Nigeria. I know most times when we talk of Nigeria, we'll feel, no, be the same system. No, I'm talking about outside the country. We have a lot of bodies that certify this. More than 7 of them certifies a GMO seed before it will be commercialized. Are we getting what I'm saying? Now, our country, Nigeria, allows GMO, but on approval, meaning that you cannot come and start selling GMO seed in Nigeria. Any GMO seed sold in Nigeria will be sold illegally. You know the way people that sell Igbo, people that sell Burumiri sell, that's the way they will sell GMO to you. Any GMO that is not approved, that's the only way you can buy it. It will not have identity. I'm telling you that. And number 2, GMOs are expensive. The seeds are expensive. They don't be small money now. Imagine passing through all those processes and they'll come and sell it for peanuts. It's not possible now. Check them too. Are we getting the point? So GMO seeds are expensive. Number 2, before GMO will be sold, it will pass through a lot of certifications, more than 7, before they will certify it for commercial purposes. Without it, they will not sell it. And even in Nigeria, and let me tell you, US do a lot of GMOs. US do a lot of GMOs because they want to feed their people, and they really want to. Okay, let me tell you something now. Let's look at this. You have a GMO seed of cucumber, for example, and that cucumber, they've introduced a gene that makes cucumber that no insect can affect it. What it simply means is, you see, we that are farmers now, in cucumber we use fungicide every 1 week. We use pesticide, insecticide every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks we spray insecticide and fungicide on the soil and all those things, introducing harmful chemicals on these plants. And somebody now say, let's go to a non-harmful bacteria, extract the gene that will help resist them, some of all these things that this paste cannot survive on them if they actually get a juice from it. Introduce it on this thing and it's not harmful to human. Introduce it on them and allow it to grow. And what it simply means is that all this fungicide, pesticide and all those things, I will not be using it on it. The plant will just grow on its own. Because I've introduced something that is a strong resistance to all these insects. And now, which one is more harmful? The one that you are using chemical every 1 week, and the one that have introduced a particular gene that will fight those diseases, that they will not have effect on your plants. Which one is better? No, tell me which one. Which one is better? So Nigeria, for example, allows GMO, but on approval. And since in this country is only 3 things that I know that have been approved. GMOs that have been approved to be sold in Nigeria. Number 1 is cowpea. That cowpea was actually approved in 2019. Another thing that was approved was Telecon. Telecon was approved in 2021. Telecon. And that Telecon was also introducing a bacteria that will help fight disease. That is it. Not for high yield. So some of us now, when we see a plant, when we see a corn that is carrying two combs, they say, hey, it's GMO. It's not true. Let's be educated. It's not true. Telecon GMO is not for high yield. It's for fighting diseases. That is why we have Telecon. Are we getting the point now? So we need to understand some of all these things so that it will help us to be able to know what we are doing. Now, instead of saying no GMO, because every GMO that is in the market is certified, and it will even be written on the body. Like for Telecon, they will write the code of the bacteria. I don't know how to pronounce all these botanical names. That's why I don't pronounce anyone, so that I don't come here and disgrace myself. I don't want to disgrace myself. I don't want to pronounce the botanical name. But it's written on the body of the bag. You understand? The company that produces this Telecon, I really forgotten their name too. But it's written on the bag, and people that buy them know that this is a GMO seed and buy. Are you getting it? Now, why GMO is being produced is for these purposes, but it's done ethically. It is done ethically. GMO space is done ethically. Let me explain what I mean that is done ethically. In this country, guns is in the country for a good purpose. And if you pass through all the necessary licenses that you're supposed to pass through and carry guns, it is for the good of the people. But if you don't pass through all the necessary licenses and you carry gun, it's for the harm of people. And people that will shiver and pee on our clothes when they are carrying gun are people that are not carrying gun with license. They are carrying gun unethically. They can do anything with that gun. But somebody that is carrying gun ethically, a policeman, they carry gun, you they harass the policeman for police checkpoint. You even saw he's carrying gun that once he points at you and shoot you at gun. But you have a confidence that he will not shoot you even when he's carrying the gun. That's ethically. So let me tell you, every GMO that is ethically produced, that passes through all the necessary process, is selling in the market, and it doesn't have a problem with people. But yet, it has shown us that there is possibility that things can be introduced in seed of a plant. So our major concern now should be on improving our protection systems to make sure that we don't smuggle in the way we are smuggling in. Look at what Urumeri is doing to people. Look at how all these kind of smokes are doing to people. But yet, they are so much in this country. They are almost everywhere. And it's dealing with people. But they're everywhere. Even though that people are not meant to, but they are selling it. And some people that are in enforcement are also buying it. So this is where our problem is. So instead of busy saying no GMO, I will advise the campaign we should run is educating the farmers. If you are going into farm, we have a lot of uneducated farmers who just go, this is seed, take and go and plant. They will go and plant, not knowing what they are planting. And until they start, let me give you an example now. We have viruses on computers. These are programmers that are unethical. Instead of using their programming sense to do something valuable, they're using it to do harmful things. That's example of one. So for now, I don't know, but I don't think something like that is happening. I don't know if people are beginning to introduce anything in seed and selling it illegally. I don't think something like that is happening. I don't think they've started putting anything in seed and selling it illegally. But if there is anything like that, that is what we should fight. Not shouting GMO, GMO. But we know that it's only GMO. It's only a process that things like that can be introduced. I'm not saying I am a fan of GMO. I don't plant GMO. I don't have GMO. I have not had issues with my routine in farming. But also, I feel if you are fighting something, fight it with knowledge, not ignorantly. And that's why I chose to do this video. That is why I chose to do this video. Because I don't want you to fight this thing ignorantly. Do that with understanding. So, farmers should know the source of seed that they are using. That should be our campaign. Oh God, the seed you are putting on the soil, where did you get it from? Where did you get it from? That should be the concern. And another thing that should be our concern is to also encourage farmers to go and learn how to produce seed. Many of us say produce seed. Okay? It's not normal when this will produce. You just no. There are a lot of things we check. Yes, there are a lot of things we check in producing of seed. But I don't want to go there because I'm talking to a general public. If I want to talk about how to produce seed, I go to farmers alone. I talk to farmers. To tell farmers to begin, let's not only be people that know how to put something on the soil. Let us also learn how to do other things they do in the business. Most of the seed that we are using, most farmers plant, they don't plant seed produced in Nigeria. So stop saying that they want us to depend on them on food. We're already depending on them. Most of the seeds are not from Nigeria. I buy seed too. I buy seed and they're expensive. Very expensive. And that is why I started studying on seed production, because I want to start producing seed myself. And I have one I've already started trying out. I have a cucumber I just produced. Let me get it and show you. Okay, so that's it. That's the cucumber. Can you see that? That's it. And I don't want to plant it this year. I want to leave it for next year. And next year, I'm not going to plant all. I'll just take like half and plant it and leave the other one for the upper year. And I'm trying to figure out something. Then I've learned a lot of things about seed production, because most of the seed we use or we plant, we import them. Now, the seed, the plant I got the seed from, I bought the seed itself 17,000 naira. The plant I got, the fruit I got the seed from, the seed itself that I planted to get the fruits that I got the seed from, I bought it 17,000. And now I have almost that 17,000 here. This is a product of 3 fruits, 3 cucumber fruits that gave me this. I really did not count it. I don't really know how many it is, but 3 of it gave me this. And I want to leave it. I want to leave it. I want to plant it next year. I want to see if I can actually preserve it that long, number 1. Number 2, I want to see the results it will give me after 1 year. Then I will leave another set for another 1 year. I will see the result it will give me after 2 years. That is what I'm doing. So when it comes to seed production, I don't want to talk about that. I'm here to talk to the general public, to be able to educate us. Because I've heard this GMO thing too for too long. And if I don't talk about it, I think God will not be happy with me. And that's why I'm doing this video. So please, and please, and please again, before you start shouting GMO, do this one, GMO, do the other one, I beg, listen to this video. Take your time, analyze this video. Because today, what we now call GMO is hybrid seeds. Hybrid is what we now call GMO. Many of us are gradually campaigning that we should stop using all these hybrid seeds in the name that we are using GMO. Are you understanding it? We even have a problem that we are not able to feed the nation. And people are now creating bias that will even cause problem in even what we are doing already. Yes. I was telling some people, the last statistics showed that we are 270 something people as at this year. 270 something people. That 270 something million people. In 1991, we did the first census, and Nigeria was 89 million people. In 2002, we did another census. Nigeria was 270 something people, and today we are 380 something people. We are growing drastically, and we no longer have arable lands. Everybody wants to build their own house. When you make more money, next thing is to build a house. And you want to build a house, you want to make sure interlock everywhere so that it will look fine and nice, so that people will know that you've made money. Everybody's doing. We are losing arable lands. And some of the efforts farmers are making to make sure that they are feeding you we are jeopardizing it, using what is not to counter what it is. I don't know what we want to achieve with that. I don't know. And yet you are still complaining that food is expensive. And yet the effort we are making to make sure you come down on the price of food, you are still trying to subject it or trying to, castigate and say things that doesn't really correct about it. Let's be careful what we are doing. Let's be careful what we are doing. Because what we are doing will affect us. That's what I want to tell us today. So please, share my video to people. Let them listen to this thing and understand GMO. I had to take my time to explain it. I didn't just tell you on the peripherals. I took my time to break it down from genes to explain to you what genes are. And if you're in medicals, you could actually attest to that. So please, GMO is not there to cause harm. It is here to improve lives. It is here to improve lives. But it has to be done ethically. And the only thing, we have very, 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 very poor systems in this country where people collect money and they will not sell their conscience. That's a big basis of our problem. Because any GMO that will harm you will not have name. And will also be smuggled in the way they smuggle most of these things with people smoke. That's the way to come in. So tell the farmers, please, beg farmers, please, don't buy seed that you don't know the source. Don't buy seed that you don't know. That should be the campaign. Not saying no GMO. Okay. Have you even asked yourself, how do we get vaccine to most of the very deadly diseases we're having? How do we get vaccine for them? You don't know that most vaccines are virus. I beg, let's not go there. Vaccines are virus. But I'm going to stop here for today because we always know how to shout ignorantly instead of going to make our research. I'll stop here, guys. I don't believe that I have been able to make some sense and have been able to tell you something that will help you. Please try to be informed. I just try to inform you. I just try to make you informed so that we can know the kind of energy. Because I've noticed that people always know how to direct the masses or direct the attention of the masses to get what they want or get. Just like politicians. If they want to do something very, 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 they know that thing, Nigerians will find it hard to assimilate it. They will first of all bring in something, create one trend that will create one energy that our attention will move to, and we'll put our energy and they go ahead and do that thing. Before we know it, they're already done with it. Before our attention will come out of that thing, they're already done what they're doing. I just hope this is not one of them. Thank you so much, guys. And I believe I've given you and I've told you what you need to know.